We're making a risotto today. There is some vegetable stock that I made with some onions, carrots, celery, leeks, garlic, parsley, thyme, rosemary, lemon balm, bay leaves, some salt, black peppercorns. Made that yesterday ahead of time. Gonna use some additional salt, some olive oil, butter, onion, some garlic, arborio rice, apple cider vinegar that we're going to dilute instead of using white wine, and then some fresh Parmesan. I think that we have some more in the freezer, but I gotta find it. First thing you want to do is to make sure that your stock is nice and warm and hot. So we're going to boil this again, and then during the process we're going to keep it at a simmer. The original recipe I worked off of for the risotto called for chicken stock, but we're making this a vegetarian version of risotto. So get your stock in the pot and then make sure you got it on high. I switched the stock to this smaller pot because I need the bigger one to continue cooking the onions and whatnot. But as you get this up to a boil, you're going to add your 2 teaspoons of salt, but you want it a little bit saltier than what you think you would like. Over medium heat in a large pot, you're going to mix 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. Add the butter to the olive oil, and then after that's melted down, you're going to toss in your medium onion that's finely minced. I used a little food processor to cut up the garlic nice and small. I'm also going to add in my 2 cloves of garlic in here and mix it up with it because we'll cook them together. So after fighting with the garlic, I got these right here. Toss them in, mix them up. Good to go. Salting up a little bit of the broth here, the stock. Go ahead and get that onion and garlic into that butter. Cook this over medium heat for 5 to 7 minutes until this stuff starts to turn a little bit brown. The recipe I'm using tells me to use white wine, but I found this thing for white wine substitutions because we tend not to cook with alcohol. And then of course apple cider vinegar is a substitution, but we need to dilute it. So the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of white wine. So we're gonna do about a cup of water mixed with 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. So side note, I did 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar and then added a cup of water. That was a mistake. We're still gonna eat it, but it was supposed to be 1 to 2 tablespoons and then dilute up to 1.5 cups of water. So definitely gonna be super apple cider vinegary for us, but we're gonna eat it. Got the stock boiling, so I'm gonna keep it at a simmer. Turn that down just so it stays warm throughout the process. Now that our onion and garlic is cooked, we're gonna add our 2 cups of arborio rice and we're gonna stir it for about a minute. We stirred it for about a minute, and now we're gonna add our white wine substitute, which was 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar and the rest with water. And we're gonna stir this in here until it's mostly absorbed. And then we start the fun part of adding in our vegetable stock. So now we're gonna take 1 ladle at a time, add it to our mixture here, and then just keep stirring. The whole process is gonna take about 20 minutes. So a ladle here, once it's mostly absorbed, and then we do it again. Just keep doing it for about 20 minutes. So we're gonna grab a ladle, bring it over, kind of mix it in there, and then stir it a couple of times after you mix it. And as you can see, it's pretty absorbed, so we're just gonna go ahead and add another ladle. You're gonna put about, if you're doing 12 ounces or 10 ounces of scallops, it'd be a tablespoon, but I'm gonna put about that much in there for the 4 scallops I'm cooking for dinner. On high heat, once it's smoking or just barely smoking, then we're gonna throw the scallops in there. Use paper towels to make sure that your scallops are as dry as you can make them. And then once they are, you know, sprinkle them with a little bit of salt, about maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. Now that oil is nice and hot, we're gonna add our scallops on a single lane, about 2 minutes till it's nice and brown. It's important not to move them, so we're gonna let them sit there for 2 minutes, and we're gonna flip them over, and then let them sit for 2 additional minutes. This is the risotto after about 18.5 minutes. That's how much stock is left in the big pot, and then this is how it's looking. Our 2 minutes is up, so we're gonna flip these over. Nice and brown. That's awesome. It's awesome to look at. That's Gordon Ramsay would be proud. Maybe not Gordon, but maybe Bobby Flay. Oh, I'm gonna get some of this oil on there, like that, and then I'm gonna let them sit for 2 minutes. So now that the time is done and it's where we want it to be, we're taking it off of the heat and we're gonna stir in our cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. We found some more in the freezer, and then season it with salt and pepper. Probably end up using more salt. It's been 2 minutes, so these are coming off the heat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and plate them right away. That's what it looks like. We're supposed to top it with some parsley to make it look nice. Sadly, this is all I have, so here it is looking nice. So the risotto turned out pretty good. The texture is great. Doesn't seem to be too mushy. Someone beautiful tells me that it's the way it's supposed to be. It is a little bit vinegary, and the scallops a little bit overcooked, I guess, from what I know. First time for me making both of these and eating both of them, but overall pretty good. So Grandma, if you're watching the video, you know, we used arborio rice instead of the orzo because that's like a pasta, and we wanted to actually try real risotto, so that's why we had to go pick this up. Overall, it's good though. Thanks again for the subscription because this thing is amazing.